guys, welcome to episode 6 of how to make a multiplayer survival arena game using Unity's Unet system. Again, I apologize for the delay, but I have been traveling a lot these holidays, and before you think, wow, this person's really rich, I'm not. I just have a lot of free time. So over the next couple of weeks, I'll be going through the basic elements of a survival game and at the same time keeping each element networked when necessary. So right now, we don't really have a survival game. We don't really have a foundation. Oh, we have a foundation of a survival game, but we don't have the necessaries to be called a survival game. So what we'll be looking at here in the next few weeks is a player HUD system and incorporating the inventory crafting system. And at the end, if I get time, not the end of this video, but at the end of the next 2 weeks, if we get time, we'll be looking at introducing a more complex shooting script, which means guns, etc. And once we get a couple more inputs, so for reload, you're going to have an input, for shooting an input. So I'm going to be incorporating a input manager so the player can play however they want. So if they want to shoot, they can press backspace, whatever. It's really up to you. So today we're going to be working on the most fundamental element of most survival games, which is the player stat system. Your player can't be alive if you don't have health. So that includes things like the player health, the hunger, the thirst of the player, and include whatever stats you want, but I'm just going to be showing you how to do it and just give you ideas too. So let's get started. So where we left off here is the player can move around, shoot some grappling hooks. It's still the default purple material. I'll change that soon. And you can shoot things. So most of these things are the most basic, so you don't know when you're shooting and don't know if you're hitting. You don't have any cooldowns on your grappling hook, so we'll be getting to those later on. I'm just going to get you the basics, get you going with the Unet system, and just so you guys can have fun along the way before you start having headaches and stuff on debugging and trying to make ideas and whatever. So what we're going to be doing is doing the player HUD. So I made this little where's my hierarchy? I made this little just UI, really, just some images. So this will be a health, this will be stamina, this will be your thirst, this will be your hunger. So all I did was in Photoshop just have this little indicator. So your health bar goes here, stamina, just so the player can see what stats are shown on the screen. And these are just little bars that I have here. What I did with them was I added them and then I duplicated the image and made a darker background. So as you can see, here's the dark red on the light red, and I did this for each of the elements. Oh my god. All I did was copy and paste it, and for the backgrounds I just added a grayer color to it. So now we have to we just have to tell the player what their current stats are, etc. So go into our scripts, create a new script, and let's call this player stats. Go into it. So we're going to be using the Unity engine networking, network behavior. So now our script is set up to use Unity's networking APIs. So now we need some variables to work with. So we're going to say int. So just like the test dummy script, we basically just copy in this format. So let's actually just copy this over. So here we're going to say we want to have hunger equals 100 as well. You can change these, so we can change these in the inspector. You don't really need these. Generally, for starters, you can just make them public. It won't matter for you, but we'll just learn a new thing. So do that. Maximum thirst equals 100, and maximum stamina equals 100. So now we have our maximum variables. Now we want to go ahead here and say, I think we're only going to sync the health, because that's the only thing the other client will care about. The other player, is not going to really care how much hunger you have, because all they're trying to do is outlast you, which depends on the other player's health. So we're only going to sync the health variable. So we'll just say sync health, or synced health, it doesn't really matter. And down here we'll just have separate ones for the current hunger. So these will just be for the current the local player to see. If you are, let's make this see. What I was saying, if you want to have some sort of spectating system, should be syncing these, because you want the spectator to see the player they're looking at stats, all of them, not just the health. So all of them are syncing to the spectator, and only the spectator, and not to the other players. So, well, they would go to the other player, but it's mainly for the spectator's viewing. I'm just trying to think of a format here. That'll be good enough. So see, keep it the same format. I'm all over the place. Current health, and so see stamina, and we're gonna need a fall rate. So the fall rate is so the fall rate is just the speed of which, say this is your health, and the fall rate is just, how do I make this bigger? Control, there we go. So the fall rate is just the rate of which this falls. So if you have a high fall rate, it goes really fast. If you have a small fall rate, it will go really slow. It's really bad. I wasn't planning on showing you guys visual for that, but there you guys go. So we are going to have to see this in the inspector for debugging purposes, and now we have to make reference to the fall rate. So here we'll have health fall rate. So these are going to be used when the hunger is depleted, or the thirst is depleted, or when you're running to deplete the stamina. So, or if you're just doing any activity, this is just the rate of which it will fall in a timely fashion. So health and hunger. So in this script there's a lot of variables: thirst, fall rate, and the stamina fall rate. Whoops. So just like the test dummy script, we want to set the variables at the start. So let's just copy this over and copy this. Should go away, and synced health equals that. Copy these, 3 times? Oops. And we say hunger, maximum thirst. I got that one. And now we have, oops. Now we set the variables at the start of the game. So we can test the fall rates in the, we can actually say serializable field. And I just realized this, will this work? No, let's just go back here. So in here we say if the current hunger is less than or equal to 0, we want the synced, let's just keep it for now. I'm just trying to think here. This, yeah, okay, we'll just say times, we'll make a command in a second. So time, so delta time. So in the previous video I explained what time.delta time does. Instead of increments, it spreads it out. So instead of incrementally syncing, minusing the health, you're doing it slowly. Times it by the health fall rate. Ooh, these shouldn't be. Yeah. All right. So sorry about that. This should be a float, and these should actually be a float as well. Let's go ahead and try this actually. So go here. Oh man, I'm not liking this. No default. Oh, whatever. I don't know why it changed. So we have these here, so we can actually just delete these for now. I don't think, yeah, okay, so go to your player prefab, lock it here, drag over this play stats script. Where is it? I'm blind. Drag it over and see what happens when we press play. And nothing should happen because, see, I'll organize this in a sec, so it's just a lot of variables. Wait, so press play and synced. Oh, that's why. So stupid. Go here, so everything is what it's meant to be, and now we just have to go ahead and change these values to what we want. So the fall rate will be 3. Easy. Play, go to the and make this 0, and you can see this is falling at a slowish pace, and if I just speed it up, you can see it go a lot quicker. So that's basically what the basic element of what we're going to be doing in the stat script. We're going to be building on this, but right now this, so we're just going to say if this is 0 and or this is 0, then we just want to drain the health essentially. So we'll keep it as that, but now we want to show the player. So right now we got no UI, so we don't know what our health is, we don't know what our hunger is. So we're gonna have to instantiate that. So going ahead and go to player setup, and we want to let's say game object. We want to instantiate this game object into the scene and only for us. So to this we say just game object player UI. And so here we're disabling a bunch of stuff. If we're not the local player, we could probably make this a function. I will do that later. So here we want to say, let's make this public, and here we'll have another game object and say this is the player UI instance. and we're going to say the player UI instance. So if we are the local player, we want to instantiate the UI for us. So for each client, they're gonna each instantiate their own player UI. So you're not gonna have to like mess with layers or anything, because each world, if you're not syncing it to the other world, it doesn't matter. So we're only doing it for us. We're not telling anyone else that we're doing this. We're just doing it on our client. Well, each client that's connected on their own client. So if we are the local player, we want to say player UI instance is equal to instantiate. Probably don't need to make this. You could probably just make a local variable. But I think we needed to, yeah, we're gonna use it later actually. So say we want to instantiate the player UI, and I hate when I press control. Alright, so now we're instantiating it, and we just go ahead and call this just for our debugging. So we're going to call this, in the hierarchy, we're just going to say the player UI. So all this is doing is changing the name in the hierarchy to player UI. You don't need to do that, doesn't really matter. But now we are instantiating the player UI on start. So if you go here and you drag over the player UI, press start, and hopefully there it is. So every time you start up your game, this will show up. So go back to our player stat script. We're going to have to assign the player UI to certain variables. So let's get the variables up, and then I'll show you how to assign them through the script. So because we're using the Unity's UI system, we have to use the namespace, so we can have some APIs and functions that we can use from that. And here we want to say you want to get some text objects, because during this scene we have some text where we can write some numbers. So the health is currently this out of this, or you don't need to have, you can just have one number, just say what it is currently. So the text, we want, there's a health text bar. This is probably a boring segment, like it's just a lot of variables, a lot of things we can get. So your text, it was called text. So hunger text, first text, and we need to get the bars, the images, so we can tell the, so we can what I keep doing that, so we can show how much our health is currently with visuals as well. So it's not just writing, it's also the visual of it. So to do that, we want to get some images. And now we have these, now we can assign them. So to do this, we are going to call, because we're going to be calling it just on the client, so we don't want the server to care whatever we're doing here. So we're just saying on the client, we want public void assign objects. You can do this in the start, but there's a lot of things to worry about. We want to assign it when we're ready. So we don't want to be forced to instantiate when we're not doing a thing. So here we're going to say, let's get a parameter and say object, because I think we can call this from the player setup. So just after we instantiate it, we can call this function and fill in, so we don't have to look for it. It can fill in it from right here. So we'll get this object will be, let's just close these, we don't need these right now. So it would fit in this player UI instance. So let's do that now. So the health bar is going to be equal to object dot transform dot. Now this is where it gets complicated, but you only have to do this once. You can just say find this word in this name in the hierarchy, but that's really taxing on the system depending on how much stuff you have in the scene. So we're going to say the health bar is going to be, so we're instantiating this. So object child 1, our child 0, because all lists start on 0. So get child 0. So this is just telling exactly where it is in the hierarchy. So exactly where it is. So it doesn't need to go find things. It doesn't have to sort things. It's telling you exactly where it should be, and put it there. Like that's what it wants. That's what I want. So here, the health bar's background is 0. So go ahead and get 0. Copy and paste, and it should be 0 again. Wait, too many zeros. So 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Okay, so we're on the object. So get component dot image. You'll be like, whoa, I'm not going to be typing that out all the time. No, you just have to copy and paste this. Let's copy it 8 times because we want to get the text as well. So okay, so the health bar health text is the next one down here. So say 1 and say text, because we want to get the text component here. Hunger bar. So let's just fill these out so we don't get confused. Okay, so these are text. So this is just the cost of working with Unity's UI system. In the inventory and crafting system, we're going to be using the GUI system. So we jump away from the inbuilt Unity system so we can practice when we don't have Unity and we're working with something else. And I think it's a lot easier to understand with the GUI system. Yes, you might not understand it now, but when we get to it, you'll be able to visualize it a lot more. So go back to our script here, and the hunger bar is 1, 1, 2, 3. So it's the third one down. 3, 0. Alright, let's bring these down. So how do we have it in the hierarchy? Stamina. Alright, this is how you should do it. So if you haven't started typing this out, or this is how it should, the order you want, so you don't get confused. So here, it's going to be 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, and here 1. So easy. So yeah, that's all we need to, so we can assign all of these variables to certain things, and now we need to say what the variables are right now. So we could do this in the update function, but we're going to be doing something a little different in this script. So because the update function here is really taxing on your computer, because it's called 60 times a second, generally in most cases you don't need nearly as much as that. Like, it does not need to be run 60 times a second, especially on big things. So you have to be able to limit this in, you just have to be creative to not use the update function. So make your own update function, but well, generally that's what we're going to do here. So if you don't get it now, I'll show you there. So we're going to make a function here, and we're just going to say update the UI, sorry. So in this, you could, so everything that's going in here, you could have done an update function, but you know, it doesn't need to be called 60 times a second. Like, can't stress it enough. So in most cases, I'm going to not use the update function. I'll just use another function to check input. So, but here, for now, we're going to be doing this. So the health bar dot. Alright, so before I go on here, I want to show you what I'm going to be doing with these images. So let's bring these out, and let's go to this health bar. Oh man, let's just, oh no, let's just skip it. So for the health bar, if you go over to the image script here, this is already built into the Unity UI system. So if you go down here, you'll see the image type. So this is really handy for what we're about to do. So you can have sliced, which we're not going to be using. So I'll just explain what we're going to be using. So filled makes it so we can do this. So it's very confusing. Yeah, so if you can look onto the scenes view, you can see when I drag this down, the health at the same time goes down to the minimum value. So that's an easy way to, so for each one, we want to make it filled, the horizontal. So you can have it, you can have really cool UI systems, so it'll just do like a cool, cool thing like that, or you can have a circle one, which is pretty cool. I wanted to make one like that, but I don't have the time. So you can just make a circle and then have this. So we're going to be using this for the cooldowns, but for now we're just going to say horizontal, and we want to fill from the left. So this fills from here to here. So when we do this, it goes from the right, and we want to do that on each thing. Filled, horizontal, left. So in the script, we'll say the fill amount. So in the script, we're going to be messing around with this little thing. So here, we'll say the fill amount is equal to the synced health, which will be the current health, and the maximum health. And before we go on, I can just show you what it does here. So apply this and delete it, and we can go ahead and we're gonna have to assign it first. So here, yeah, and I think we can just do this. So here, because so player, we want to get player stats from our own script here. And so because it's on the same object. Oh, come on, load. So player stats and the player setup here are on the same object. So all we have to do here is create a local variable and say the player stat is equal to get component dot player stats. Now we stored it, and we just say down here, oh, we didn't store it, it's just a local variable, and we just say stats dot assign objects. We want to fill in the player instance, and now it, fingers crossed, should be working. Okay, we just did a lot of things without testing. Let's see how it goes here. So now let's make this 0. Oops, wrong thing. So we'll make this 0. And it doesn't look like it's going down. Could be wrong. And I just realized I don't even know what I'm doing in my life. Just kidding. So we never called this function anyway, so it's not going to update anything. So to do this, I'm trying to find a better way to doing this, but easily. But this is the simplest option. So here we're going to say, in the stunt function, we want to repeatedly call a certain function. At the start, call any function. So this is just a better way to do things instead of having to limit the current built-in void update system. So here, all we have to do is it fills in a string, which is our method without the brackets, and we need the time we want to start it, which let's say this is 0, so from the start, and we want to 0.1 just for fun, and say it's 0.1. So what this is doing, it's only being called 10 times a second. So at the start of the game, at 0.1 seconds in, we want to call this function every 0.1 seconds. So that's only 10 times a second. Or yeah, 10, no, 6. Oh man, my brain is hurting. But okay, everything should be working. These are fine because we're going to be assigning them to them later. So here, plan. All right, fingers crossed, guys. So current health is going to be 0, and yay, it's going down. So we'll see at the halfway point when it's at 50. Come on, it's almost at 50. Halfway, yes. All right, so we are having a player UI system. So now we just have to do this for all the things. So here, health bar, hunger bar, stamina bar, and instead of, we're going to say, well, let's get hunger, C hunger, hunger, thirst, oops, the current thirst, thirst, current stamina, stamina, and now we want to get the text, so we want to have number visuals as well, so we know exactly where we are. So to do this, pretty simple actually. So to do this, we get the hunger text function. Don't worry about it. We'll stamina text, thirst text, and the hunger text, and we say equals to. You can make it however you want. You can just have numbers. So, but for now, I'm just gonna say HP the text, and we're gonna I want to get in. So right now the floats are here. So the current variables are floats. So they'll have like a couple decimal points. I don't want that. I just want straight number. So I don't want 96.0 like number 3, 5, 10, whatever. So I don't want that. I just want 96. I just wanted to say 96. So here we want to cast it as an int and say distinct health. We're gonna have to bracket this as well because we want to get it as a to string. So it's taking because this is just a game object, we want to get the this is just a text. How do I explain it? So drag this over. So we are in this function here. We got this game object. We want to get this. So it's gonna be like whatever. So we want to get this of it. So to do this, all we do is dot text. Let's just copy this all. What are we doing? Alright, so instead of HP, hunger, this is stamina. And we don't want this, current stem, current thirst, current hunger. Alright, so I don't want to drag this on any longer, but this is all you need. Oh no, let's go for 2 more minutes. So right now, if we play, everything should be Gucci. As you can see, stamina. These are a bit hard to read. I'll fix the text file on it, but it's really weird right now. But you can see it's working. Go here, make this 0. This is now empty, and you can see this is falling. If we build, man, this is a really long video for something really simple. There's a lot of writing and I talked a lot. That's my bad. So I'll have to make this into 2 parts, I think. So here you each have your own little thing. So right now everyone has their own UI system. We just have to add more onto it. So this is the end of part 1. Part 2 should come out like a couple minutes after this. So thank you guys for watching. I hope this wasn't too boring. I got bored doing this. but we have to get through it because it's only gonna get better. It's only get more fun. I'm 100% sure you guys are gonna learn some stuff. You're gonna enjoy some stuff. You're gonna get frustrated. Just ask me below in the comments what you want to see. You're probably not gonna get to this part, but thank you guys for watching and see you in the next video.